functionality in PT Assistant, which will be available soon. How did I get to this point? I was mapping from west to east this entire route, which goes maybe could be 30 kilometers, I don't know. It's quite a long one, and I've been mapping it with the helper assistant, as answering at every turn how the bus would be going. Now I'm trying to make a little shortcut. So the stops are already mapped, but they're not in the correct order that we can normally solve with this button, but not at the moment. Or maybe I could try, because what did I do to as a shortcut? I took all the ways from the other route relation that's going from west to east, and out of those, I only kept the ones that are not one ways. So if we zoom in a bit, and you see that all the red ones are in the other direction, the route of the other direction, but are removed from this one. Obviously, what I also did is to flip the order of all these ways. And what is also gone is ways that were in the relation twice, because I moved them to the selection and then moved the selection into this route relation. So now I'm wondering, let's go here. So this is here. What I'm going to do is to add this one-way road that was obviously removed. I'm going to add it here. And then on the other side, so here this exit only stop, which obviously should be all the way at the bottom. There I'm also going to add this way to say, okay, that's the last way in the route relation. Can use that button for that one. So now I have a route relation with many gaps, no one-way roads, and some roundabouts. Okay, so I'm going to, I could save, but if I press this button, it will first save and then it will start the routing helper functionality. So it finds the first way and it finds that the first way is not connected to anything. From that first way, it's odd that it also shows these, because this is a one-way, so it doesn't make sense that it would go there, but okay. Doesn't really matter. So what would it do? It has a stop that it serves here. So would it use this one and then go north, or would it go all the way around? That's what we don't know, but let's take option 4. There might be a bus in that bay, so that will be the official way that they need to follow, I guess. So, and then I press 2 because I want to get away from this station. Yeah, again 2. So at every intersection, it will ask me what I want to do. Now, in this station, not too many intersections are drawn yet, so okay. Let's see what it proposes here. Yeah, so here I want option 3. And again 3. And then option 2. It's always downloading. So maybe we should figure out a way to first download all the ways using Overpass, all the possible highways, and then not download anymore during Here I want to take option 1. And again 1. And again 1. So I was planning to write an article. Can mapping of public transport routes be fun? And on the one hand, I would say yes. But I wouldn't dare to say that it's not at the same time fun and tedious at the same time. So the fun part is that now we don't need to select each and every way and split each and every way. So that's an advantage, but it's a bit tedious maybe. But yeah, it's auto selecting all the way, so it's definitely an improvement, I would say. So 1, this way was already in there from the other direction. This way is also in there from the other direction. Okay, so obviously we want to use number 1 here, but how are we going to connect to that one? That is not clear. Maybe I need to get off here and then like this. Let's look at the map. So probably I should have gotten off here and then, but this is not a bridge. So here we're on the wrong side of the road. Here is a bridge. So probably what we need to do is go like that. Okay, so I'm going to do cancel. This means that we are on the wrong side. So what we can, no, it's still asking if we want to do 2 here. If I would have been further along already, I could have done 9 to remove the last section, so to backtrack. But actually what we need to seem to, either we can go like this, or maybe we can try to go like this. Let's see what that would give. There are other buses riding here, so let's take option 2. Sometimes when you do all kinds of things, it lost focus, and clicking here in the black area usually gives, yeah, there the focus is back. So now it noticed that I pressed number 2. So again, I want to do number 2. Maybe calling it number 2 was not the best idea, because in English it has other meanings, but let's not. Oh, what's that? How odd. When the bus was traveling like this, the option was not given to go to the left here. There are also not lights there, so. Yeah, somebody with local knowledge who already took that night bus can say if it goes off the road. I thought this might be a bridge. But anyway, what we can see here, because the map paint style that is loaded, the style that I created called public transport, we can see that other buses are doing this too. So let's select that option too. So what happens probably is that this way here is not split, and the routing helper is not proposing to split it either. So then it means that we end up further west already. Okay, so this is what happened going north. can happen that this mouse is, let's take option 3. It's not doing exactly the same going north and south. That is perfectly possible. Here I would say 2. But what it actually does, yeah, that I don't know, obviously. So, and here it's not going to give me the option to go south because that way is not split there. So now it's proposing to do that. But if that's what's happening, then it would have made a lot more sense to use this way here. I'm going to take option 2 and then I'm going to press escape. Okay, escape. So I think that this way should be in there. I also think that this all the way up to here was not right. So now I have all these ways here. I can remove them. This is something that needs to be done manually, obviously. And then also, I would think that maybe it goes like this. What is this? Okay. Where are the stops? If you have many stops, it's easier, of course. Seems like somehow we need to get onto that stretch anyway. Yeah? Here is a hacking way, and there doesn't seem to be many possibilities to probably here then. Okay. So I select this part and I'm going to remove those ways as well. And then I'm going to have a look at what this is. That can go too. And this. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Okay, and then I'm going to ask our helper assistant again. Okay, why is it going there? Okay, I'm going to do remove ways. This is weird. What's it doing? So I was actually standing here, and I think we are going to have to take that route. I'll add some manually. What we can do, we have this edge selection. Now we have 3 ways. If I click on that one with shift, I should have kept my 3 ways, but apparently I didn't press shift hard enough, maybe, I don't know. Okay, 4 ways. Let's already add those. Apparently they need to be flipped over. Yeah. So then we're already at this point. Zoom to gap. Let's save that. I better do escape to get rid of this text here. So now we are at this point. So this one, I can select it. And with this button here, I can remove the selection from the route relation. And then we'll see if we can find a way to get over there. The plan with this screencast was to do something really relatively efficient, which is not working out the way that I hoped, but okay. Save. Here is another gap, so let's have a look what that gap is. This way. Okay, so this is the manual way of doing things. Maybe it's not bad to show that too. And then we are here, and now I'm going to ask our helper assistant to see what it can do for us. This is really odd. It doesn't start from that way. It starts from the roundabout. I'm going to select one, and I'll add that way later on. But there is still a gap here that it left there. I'm going to remove that way. Then it will find that it can go around the roundabout in the other way. Now it kept the gap there too. I wouldn't call it ideal quite yet, but okay. Still beta testing, obviously. Here we need to go south, and then we need to go to this station, and then we need to go out again and continue like that. So here I want to go to the south, so option 3. Option 1. Sometimes I want to zoom in to get a better view. Sometimes it's not needed. Option 1, and then those ways are already in, so it jumps on. Then we have these forked ways to get onto the roundabout here. So I take option 1. And then it should give me options to get off the roundabout. Now what I want to do here, I want to go to that station first, so option 1. Those ways it already had, but for some reason he doesn't see that. It's not a big deal because we need those ways in the other direction again. So let's see what it does. Don't know why it stops at that bridge. Okay, we don't want to go there. We want to continue straight on. And again, straight on. There is only one option here. So that's more to keep the user in control. Okay, this is a bit weird. So here we're going to say remove current edge. 9. That edge is in there because it's not a one-way road and it was still in there from the opposite direction. We're going to need it afterwards, but we'll see. Okay, so here I want to go straight on. So 1. The thing that makes it really slow is downloading all that data there. We need to find a solution for that. I tried using an overpass query to download all the ways that are suitable for buses. And then we would need an option to tell it to not download. Okay. So option 1. Yeah, on roundabouts, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to stop there. So, but I asked Bitrush to do something rather complicated, so I think he's going to be busy for a few days. I documented it in another video. Something that would be an incredible boost. So if these problems stay in and that other solution is implemented, that's going to help a lot. And then I can still see about these smaller problems. Okay, so here I want to use option 2. Then it normally finds that this roundabout is already in the route relation. Okay, it does. Here I don't know what the bus would. It needs to serve that stop here. So then we take option 1. This is a very long distance line, so not many stops. But sometimes they're there to know which route, which way is actually taken. Okay, so here we have this roundabout in there a second time. Good. So it knows how to work with that. And here again, I want to add this roundabout. There I want to take option 5. Here I want to take option 1. Option 2. One. So there is almost no mousing work involved. That's the fun part. Waiting for the downloads to finish is a little bit less fun. Maybe we figure out a solution for that. Option 2. Thing is, we included the downloads to be sure that there are no other possible forks. So option 1, this roundabout is added a second time. Option 1. And then this way, this gray way that we saw there in the northwest was already in the route relation. Here there is a potential problem. This gray way on the roundabout, that one should go. But don't have a way to make it disappear while the routing assistant is working. So that's for later on. So I'm pressing 2. So on top of removing all the one ways, I should also be removing ways that are part of a split roundabout, apparently. So I'm going to click here and then 2. Yeah, now it got it. And then it finds a way that's already in there, but it doesn't realize it apparently. So option 2 again, it's trying to go to the gray way, and now it's adding things, adding ways a second time where it shouldn't, I think. Maybe not, I'm not sure. Let's see. So option 1. What do we see? It looks okay. So option 2. Click here, option 2. Sometimes it seems to lose focus, and it's this window that needs to focus. Now sometimes I press on this bar here, but that doesn't make it get into focus. You need to click there. Option 1. Of course, you need to. All the modes are still available. So if you would press A or B, then it would go into add nodes or add buildings modes, and you need to be careful not to be adding nodes um, while clicking to get it back into focus. So 3. 2. Now it's asking me every bit of the way, so that is strange. Not so strange, maybe. I'm going to do escape, and I'm going to take out this way here on that roundabout that was. So then this becomes continuous, and we can simply skip it. And we go to this next roundabout. Let's add that one manually. And then again, this becomes continuous, and we can skip it. Here, there is a one-way road in that direction. We don't see any bus stops, so most likely the bus needs to do something else here. And that's where the routing assistant helper comes in handy. Only this way. So what would the bus do? Would it go like that? Probably not. Would it go like this? Maybe. There is another bus that does that. So here it's mystery what it would do here. If it goes like this, then it would make more sense to go like this. So I'm going to remove these ways. And of course, somebody with actual local knowledge may have to fix that. That way it should probably also go. That was this way. I want to go to the south here. So now I'm going to switch on this helper assistant again. Use option 2. Option 1. Option 1. Option 1. Option 1. Option 2. Option 1. There is only one option because it finds that this closes the gap to the way that it was trying to get to, so now it can skip a few ways. Okay, here also we want to use option 1. And then we go straight from a white way to a gray way. Here again, part of the roundabout is still in there. So what I'm going to do is first use option 1. And then I'm going to do escape. And now for these remaining ways, so I'm going to, for all these ways that are still here in this route relation, I'm going to select them, and then I'm going to do a search. Control F. And here I want from the selection, I want all the junction this roundabout that are not closed ways. Now, yeah, that's what I want to. So start search. Then when I look at here, I see that some of them are in green. So some of those are junction roundabout, but not closed ways. And then I can use this button here, which I never knew. For a long time, I didn't know what it did, but everything that's selected here in the editor will be removed here out of the members. So it's quite a handy button, because if I save now, then all these are gone. So in my original search, I should have add or one way is yes. It would have been better. And then usually I do that on child selected, because then I simply have to press this button to select the route relation, and then I can find all these ways easily. I can create a toolbar button for it, which is going to appear there. There. Okay, so this is selecting the route relation. Don't really need to do that, but okay. Okay, so we go on. We still have a very long way to go, but some parts are already filled in, so that's nice. So let's start the routing helper assistant once more. One. This is the third year that students are working on the PT Assistant plugin. And this is the year that that this can be included, which was kind of the point from the start. But during the first year, we mostly had to work on validation rules so that we would know which route relations needed our attention. And then last year, some bug fixing, some work on the roundabout splitter. Yeah, we managed to. Yeah, we also added the sorting of the stops so that they follow the ways. It was added last year, and this year we arrived to this point where we're actually mapping a bus route, if you have the stops or if you have some of the ways, and of course preferably also a good idea of where the bus actually goes, then this can be really handy. We need to optimize it, so we need to optimize all those downloads, but it's a lot easier to map them this way than having to manually select the ways. For manually selecting the ways, we came up with edge selection mode. I think that was also last year. Yeah, we also added that last year. Or rather, Giacomo did. I only proposed it. So to make it easy to select entire edges. And then one of the things that Bishwish did this year is to make that more practical by allowing to use Control and Shift. So 1. So yeah, 3 years of development. Well, actually 3 times 3 months. But I think now it's getting to a point that it's already used by some people, but I would like to see it become used in general by everybody to know, so that everybody who uses JOSM knows it when route relations get broken, and they can be fixed right away. And then you get as much assistance as is possible. That's the whole idea. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is nice. If you wouldn't be paying attention, you do it manually, you would be tempted to add this way. But actually it has to go around like that. So option 1, it's looking at one way. It's looking at whether this street is suitable for a bus, for actually the mode of transport that you're working on here in the relation editor. And it's also looking at some turn restrictions. So if there are turn restrictions mapped, it should also be hitting them. So here, for instance, you will see it proposes that part. It's a new option. It could have continued, but here the user is in control. So you are shown, but it couldn't go that way because that's a one-way. It wouldn't go against the one-way restriction. So 1. And then if you do make a mistake, sometimes I even yeah, then the validator will tell you about it. Sometimes I even leave them in, or because I know the validator will trip over them. So 1. And then you can fix them in the next round. Again, 1. Now here, this is a part that I didn't see in the other direction, which probably means that I took another shortcut at that point. Let's see what it shows. I think it's going to add quite a few ways, so I'm going to let it do that. Okay, so now we are here. It's going to add, so we are here at 3 nodes and then 5 nodes. Gendarme and then Schildperik. Let's choose option 1. I think that's the one that we need because we want to go there. Yeah, so we use option 1. So it was able to add from here. So all these ways were added automatically. And then it comes to ask us a question again. Here, option 2. So again, option 1. Option 1 doesn't go through that station. There's a bus station here, but it's not going through it. It's serving a stop over there. So option 1. Then it has that way from the other direction. Okay, option 2 there. Option 1. Option 1. And here it's going a good stretch in one go. So option 1. And again, option 1. Let's check where the next stop is. Yep, again, option 1. And 1. Here there is some special accommodation for that bus. So here we... Oh, it only... doesn't even... Oh, yeah, okay, we were already on that stretch where the bus stop is, so that's good. But now we have to see where the next bus stop is. Since it's a long distance line, yeah, the distance to that one is very high. And all the ways that I was adding so painstakingly in the other direction are gone because they were all one ways. So I'm going to take option 2. 1. Okay. Here it could go to the north. So let's see if that makes sense. Here it can get onto the highway if it does that, so indeed that makes sense. So option 1. And again 1. Oh, that was apparently wrong. Now it's only going to show me how to go there. No, that's not what I wanted. So I do 9 to backtrack. And at this point, I actually wanted option 2. One, 2, 1. There is one thing in the map CSS style that I created. Before I had PT Assistant, I had to get by in other ways. And so, just a moment. When it asks the next question, I will show you. Well, here it's traveling a long distance over those highways, so that's good. And then it's going to go there into Paris. But yeah, let me first add that part. So I think here also 1. I'm going to stop it for, maybe I don't need to stop it. Let's see. So it's constantly also saving and refreshing automatically. But what I want to show is, so we're working on N141. So if I try to find that, then I find this relation for the other direction. This is coming from the guard list. Edit. If I put ODBL new on that one, this ODBL tag, this relation was changed already anyway, so it doesn't matter that I put a tag on it, but that tag is also going to be discarded before upload. But I think if I save this, then the map CSS style, map paint style, for public transport, thought it would highlight that route relation. Yeah, I think it's highlighting it there. So that's the other direction. So let's keep it on. So here we can see what was mapped before for the other direction, and then we get an idea whether what I'm mapping now. They're both purple. Sorry, darker shade of purple and a lighter shade of purple. Um, I wouldn't call that a coincidence, but here you can see that they're staying mostly together. Only here to get there we needed to do that, but then we. Oh yeah, what I also did in that map CSS style is show very clearly where the stops are. Only now we are seeing the stops for the opposite direction. And that was, of course, because I was doing it all manually back then. So no automation, no automation. Yeah. So here you can see what the roots for the idea of doing the public transport assistant were. Anyway, I'm going to continue. Um, Now that I moved, yeah, so here I need to zoom in back on that. Yeah. So here again, it's option 1. Let's see if it still works after all our manipulations on this other route relation. I'm not sure what would happen if you would change this route relation while it was working on it. So I'd say let's advise against doing that. So now it's following this highway, downloading each and every tidbit of it. Okay. And then it's also downloading all the houses, and I have a filter switched on, which then removes them mostly from view. But all that takes time, of course. Okay, that is what it's all going to add. And then here it has a doubt. And do we stay on the highway or do we get off? We have to cross this ring road. So I think I'd say let's stay on. So 2. This is weird. Yeah, so it has another doubt there. Now the best thing to do is to look at the map at that point, obviously. So what we avoided to do was this one, which was getting us off the highway. Now it's here at this point. Which one do we want? We want that one. So the left one. Cancel, and then at this point it's going to be the right one, and then it's going to join here, and then we are at the Porte de Bagnolet. Okay, so option 1. I know I have to do up 1 first. I don't know exactly why though. Uh, yeah, it doesn't have data there anymore, but it could have downloaded directly, obviously. Here I want to get off now instead of turning to the south. So option 2. And this is where having the other route highlighted in the other direction also comes in handy. Because then you know you can follow it. Maybe I should have done it from the beginning, but yeah. Okay, so option 1. So here in yellow, we see N141 10 stop. Now this sequence number is not correct at the moment. Okay, and then we arrived back on the part of the way, and that was actually the reason why I didn't do it. I didn't know whether this purple was going to be overwritten by this. So option 1, we don't want to stay on that roundabout. This one is odd because this way here in the south is still in there. This one should have been removed by either the one-way rule or the junction search. Let's select these and have a look. What are they? Oh, they're not in the... Okay, they're highlighted because they're from the other direction. Yeah, so maybe purple is not the best choice for that anymore. Now that we are using purple for the new one, for the one that has focus here. Anyway, 1. So those ways in the south of that roundabout are not part of this route relation. So that's exactly how it should be. Again, 1. Two. You could say, yeah, it should know it automatically, but I really want to keep the user at the steering wheel, even though a user is going to be somewhat bored by having to press 1 and 2 so often, but okay. At least now you know what you're doing and adding. So here, 1. We're back in Paris, so I suppose we're almost home. Well, maybe not home, but almost near the Gare de l'Est. So 1. Let's see actually. How many ways? We don't have too many ways left there. And if we zoom out here, oh, we're almost there, yeah. So 1. And this is the opposite direction. And here is a stop of the direction that we... Ah, this is the same stop. Huh. Okay. So how do we get to that stop? It didn't give us that option, or did it? I'm going to press 9 to backtrack. Ah, yeah, okay, so that was still in there from the opposite direction, I think. And that's why it didn't stop at that point, I guess. So here we backtracked and now we do option 1. Normally the route relations are not that long. This is a really very long distance going over highways, and so that's why it takes quite long, of course. So 1, or yeah, 1, because we're not north enough yet to serve that stop. And what do we get here? Yeah, so again 1. No, maybe not. Yeah. I suppose he's going to have a hard time doing this almost 180-degree turn here. So maybe it's first going like this and then that. So let's remove that way and then add in these ways. Sometimes what I'm doing is not heeding the order and then sorting, but that's not always the best way, but yeah, it works. So there. So that's that. Now we select this route relation. And we find yeah, it's not really important. Okay, so that's that. So I mapped, I took 2 hours, I think, I'm afraid, to map it in one direction, and then I took the time of this video to map it in the other direction. If we look at the stops, we see that they're near to each other. If we look at the itinerary for both directions, we also see that it mostly follows nicely. So the probability that this is correct is quite good, I would say. Here it goes like this, and there it goes like that because of one-way traffic. Here too, yeah, here it goes and serves that station. Here too, I'm doing 2 different things. Yeah, if that's wrong, then it needs to be fixed by somebody who knows the actual. Looking at the plan, but it's not extremely helpful. Okay, so there you go. So that one is mapped. So I'll stop broadcasting. Thank you for your attention.